The views, comments, and opinions of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of Morris Media Studios, MorrisMediaLive.com, or its affiliates. Listener discretion is advised.
Thank you for tuning in. As you can see, I am not in the Morris Media Studios today, my home away from home. I am in my other home, the LA Crystal Hotel and Casino, here in the beautiful city of Compton. And it's my birthday. Today is my birthday. Happy birthday to me. Praise the Lord. Thank you for this time. So I just want everybody to know we have some wonderful in-studio guests today. My dear friend and brother, Fred Shaw, is going to be actually hosting and doing the interviews today. We're just going to tell you a little about himself first, because you need to know who it is. It's kind of like trying to take my place. But you know that. But nevertheless, Brother Shaw's there, and he's going to be interviewing our guest who's on the way, Brother Bruce Gordon Media Guy. He's a real top guy who's been trained very well. So he's going to be giving some information on his background and just little information on how you all can get involved with what's going on. Okay, so you know how to keep in touch with me, right? Yeah. just call. I'll give you this new number. No, don't call the new number. Old number, 310-795-3534. Now, I'm going to turn it over to Fred. Fred, where you at, Fred?
I'm right here. Thank you for having me sit in for you on your show. I thank you for introducing me. I thank you for the opportunity to be here. I'm the Reverend Fred Shaw. I am a community activist. I'm the president of the Inglewood South Bay NAACP, and we've been doing some miraculous work as of late. We've been influential in the politics and the civil rights, and if you're paying attention, you know a lot is going on. I'm also the international spokesperson and the director of public affairs for a group called the Citizens Commission on Human Rights. It's a mental health watchdog group that exposes psychiatric abuses. When we say psychiatric abuses, we're talking about the electroshocking of children. We're talking about the mass drugging of children. We're talking about the mental health system operating as if they are an authority when you look behind the scenes, that none of their diagnosis is based on clinical trials. The Diagnostic Statistical Manual is voted in the different diagnoses with a show of hands. So we expose all of this. So when people go into the field or they're going to get some type of treatment, they know what they're looking at. So, and I thank Crystal because she knows I've been in that fight for 30 years and trying to expose what is going on in that field. I'm not a medical doctor and I'm not a scientist. So whatever I tell you, even though it's true, you make your own decisions. I'm not making decisions for you, and you have to do that. But if you follow me, I've been on the show a couple of times, or on Crystal shows a couple of times as a guest, and I've exposed a lot of what's going on in the field of mental health. And if you know who I am or what I am, I know my subject, and I will debate anybody in the world on mental health. So, with that, we've been doing some exciting things with the NAACP in Inglewood. We have been working diligently with the Young and the Restless, and we've been partnershiping with the National Action Network, Community Unity in the Community Coalition, and a lot of different groups. We're working as one part. I'm part of an NAACP group that has gotten all the chapters or the branches of the NAACP. I've gotten, through the direction of Durrell Good, we have gotten all of these groups together. And so now when we move, we're moving as a unified force. We're not just moving as one branch. So if I got an issue in Inglewood, all the other branches get prepared to join me in that fight if necessary. We've been meeting with the chief of police. We've met with Michael Moore, the chief of police, LAPD. We've met with Mr. Luna, who's the sheriff of LA County. We have discussed issues. We met with the chief or the acting chief in Inglewood. And what we're trying to do is get a spirit of cooperation. It is fine to jump up and down. It is fine to scream and holler. But what we should be trying to do is make change. And the only way you make change is you sit across the table from the people who can make the decisions that make the change. And so we are working with the Baptist Ministers Conference with Reverend K.W. Toulis, our pastor K.W. Toulis. We're working with the Southern Bureau Ministers Alliance. We're working with the LAPD Clergy Council. We're making inroads into all of these, and they're joining us in our fight, and we're joining them in their fight so that we can change the game and make progress in our community. One of the things that is facing us, and I'm going to just go through some things. We're facing a problem with the homeless situation. The homelessness has gotten out of control. More people are becoming homeless every day than there are people who are being put in housing. The problem is I think the approach to dealing with the homeless situation is all wrong. we're taking the worst of the homeless, we're putting them in housing, and a lot of the owners of the places don't want them there. A lot of tenants that are not homeless who can afford their rents are standing against them being there. And we say, oh, no, that's cruel. That's a shame. Well, actually it is. But if we dealt with the working homeless first, those people who get a 24-hour gym membership and they use the sports programs with like 24-hour fitness and Planet Fitness and all of those type of things, they use those places to use the restroom. They use those places to take showers. And so if they're willing to go to that extent and then they come back and sleep in their car and things like that, then maybe that should be the ones who are housed first. They shouldn't have to live in their car. Some people say, well, they at least live in a car. I've been out there among the homeless, and some of those tents, especially if you got people that are hygiene conscious, they have actually more space to move around in than the people in the car. So you can let your seat back in the car. You can do that. You can have multiple people in a car, but nobody's truly comfortable and people have to go to work. Then the next thing I would like is to see them deal with the willing homeless. Those are the people who would work. If you gave them opportunity, they would do a program if you presented it to them. Those people right there, that should be the next group that we house. Let's help those who can help us. The people who are the working homeless, they pay taxes. They should be taken care of. Now, the ones that are truly having problems and issues, a lot of it comes from the psychiatric drugs that they take. People who haven't been paying attention, they haven't been looking at the side effects of these drugs. If you don't believe me, you can look at the commercials. It will tell you these drugs will cause suicidal thoughts and actions. And if they will do that, anybody that will commit suicide, they can have the possibility of committing homicide. And that's why law enforcement officers go to suicides with their guns out, because of the fact that people will have a tendency to take you with them. And if these drugs causes confusion, hallucinations, and things like that, sometimes they won't even know who they're hurting or what they're doing. But these things aren't being addressed in our society. We keep getting the idea, push this, push that, push this, push that, but we need to be able to come forward and present the problem like it actually is. And if we do that, we'll be resolving it. But if we just let them dictate for us, if you look at the homeless situation in Skid Row and all that, majority of them are black people out there, So we might have to start coming at it from the point of view, when we talk to the Democrats, when we talk to the Republicans, when we talk to the independent, what are you bringing to the table for us? That's what we have to ask. I don't want to hear no more about, we getting rid of Trump. I don't care if a person's racist. I want to be able to feed our families. I want to get the homeless people off the street. I want to be able to change the conditions in our schools. I want us to be able to stand up and be forthright and coming at the issues, and it's who gives us the best deal. We have no idea how many people hate us in this country. We interact with people, they may like us and they might not. But the way they treat us, what they do for our people, we have to ask that. We got to bring that to the table. And if we bring those things to the table, we'll start seeing things change. We can blame everybody else for the condition in our household. That's the way they want us to think. They don't want us to take it into our own hands and be responsible for ourselves. They come into our community, they bring these drugs into the community, they change our culture. I'm listening to young people thinking thuggery and all that is our culture. Where did we get that idea? From people who did not care about us, that make money on us being incarcerated. that make money on us going to jail. That's why they call it the prison industrial complex, because of the fact that it is set up and designed for us to go to jail. So we got to start knowing what's going on behind the scenes so that we can address the issue, and so we can go from there. If you've been paying attention, why is it that I sit in a meeting? It was with the former superintendent of LA Unified School District. Why is it when they presented the facts, Black kids were at the bottom of every category? And I told them, I said, what you're saying to us is that Black kids either don't have the ability to learn or you don't have the ability to teach them. Because we can't sit back and allow our school systems to fail us, and then we fund all of the rebuilding, remodeling, and everything so our children will look good failing. No, the dollars need to go into making sure that our kids come out of school with an education. That's what we're supposed to have. So these are just some of the things that we're dealing with. I can tell you right now, this is a Christian station. I can tell you right now, and I can debate it against anyone. I got the facts and the figures. I can start in the late 1800s when the field of mental health or psychiatry decided to take out religion. They came with man as an animal. That didn't happen before the late 1800s because the way the mental institutions treated the people were so bad that the Christian community started screaming, you cannot do this to spiritual beings, you cannot do this to God's children. In 1940, Dr. J.R. Reese and Brock Chisholm and some of those individuals, they said that they had made a useful attack upon a number of professions. The two easiest was the church and the educational system. Why would you attack industries that's supposed to do good? I told you there was no science behind this current mental health system. There's no science. In fact, Dr. Benjamin Rush, the father of psychiatry, that's what they call him, the father of psychiatry, said that Black people skin was dark because we had a disease that was akin to leprosy, and that white people should stay away from us, and that the only way to know if we were cured or sane is if we turned white. This is the philosophy and this is the racism that stands behind this. So I'm going to just leave you with that. I think our guest has gotten here. And so I want to be able to spend the remaining time finding out who this brilliant man is. Crystal
Yes.
Davis Wells said that I had to be here. She couldn't make it, said, brother. I said, well, I got this. She said, I don't care what you got to do there. You be there for that brother. So I said, okay, I'll do it, Crystal. I might owe her a favor or two. I don't know. So anyway, I know I was glad to get here. And I don't know, do we need to go to a commercial break so he can get mic'd up or what? Okay. So we'll be right back.
Yeah.
Oh, Crystal, you want to take us out?
Pastor, can you hear me, Pastor? Pastor, can you hear me? I just wanted to say something. Make sure you let the people know how to reach you. Send them your email or website or anything, because I know people are going to have plenty of questions and they want to probably support you and join you. So I want to make sure you give your information, and then we will go to a little music break. And if one of Bruce's songs called, I think, A Woman or something, if that song has been uploaded and ready to go, I would love to take a break, listen to that song, and y'all get Bruce in, and then I'm going to probably go upstairs and change and just let y'all do your thing, and I'll be back before it's all over. Is that okay?
Okay, so do you want me to get the information right now and then the song will come on?
Yes, give your information. If Bruce's song is not ready, then somebody's song, my song, and then we'll let Bruce come on, and then we'll take it from there. But okay, go ahead.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you heard the boss, and she told me to give you the information. If you want to know where I get all of my information, how I've been able to debate psychiatrists from Morehouse University to UC Irvine, Harvard professors, and I got the same record as Mayweather. So if you want to know where I get my information, go to cchrint.org, cchrint.org. That's the Citizens Commission on Human Rights. If you want to reach me, just go to fshawjr@yahoo.com. There's a whole list of programs that we're going on, a lot of things that we're creating in that field. So you can reach me at fshawjr@yahoo.com. Now, let me just say this. I love the Lord, and probably everybody here loves him. But when I don't give out my phone number, you're going to have to email me, because I've done that. And then I've had people preach whole sermons to me, call me up in the middle of the night. God told them to tell me something while I'm trying to get my beauty rest. Look, just email me. I will get back with you as soon as possible. Put Lady Crystal in the subject line so that I know that it came from this show. And if you do that, then we'll be able to do it. With that, I turn it over to our brilliant engineer and let him bring in the music.
She gon' get the job done. She gon' get the job done. Sometimes the best man for the job can only be a woman. A woman, a woman. Cause there's a point of view that only can be seen by a woman. Sometimes the best man for the job can only be a woman. A woman. She's qualified in every way. She gon' get the job done. Conducting interviews for key positions. Time to make my final decision. Someone who be my boo, shorty could one day be my wife. Ride or die, unified, love my baby for the rest of my life. I know I'm ready to make that commitment. Putting in work, I plan with precision. Got my back, ain't no act, not afraid to give me the facts. You rock my world, I'm feeling hurt. I believe she could be my girl. Tell me, babe, when can you start? I need a CEO to run my heart. Loving you and only you, the reason why my life is better. Nothing like the way I feel whenever we spend time together. And if I'm blinded by the light, my family gonna tell me if something ain't right. Did a background check and it went through. I wanna offer the job to you if you love me too. Sometimes the best man for the job can only be a woman. A woman, a woman. Cause there's a point of view that only can be seen by a woman. Sometimes the best man for the job can only be a woman. A woman. She's qualified in every way. She gon' get the job done. Kamala Harris hammered through the glass ceiling. You saw the pride that women was feeling. Michelle O, Serena, Jeannie B, Stacey A. Put respect on their name for paving the way. The haters come and go, but you still standing. It don't matter, whatever they was planning. They second guess, try to test. You show them that you the best. Doing fine, promotion time. Finally, it's your time to shine. Deadlines that you have to meet. Getting it done professionally. Single mothers working hard just to feed their family. Essential workers doing their best to help avoid a tragedy. Beyonce, Rihanna, Kim, Kylie, Taylor, Billy, J-Lo, and AOC. These ladies know that they can floss. Cause they was dreaming they won. That they would be their own boss. Sometimes the best man for the job can only be a woman. A woman, a woman. Cause there's a point of view that only can be seen by a woman. Sometimes the best man intuition in her decision. Sometimes the best man for the job can only be a woman. A woman, a woman. 'Cause there's a point of view that only can be seen by a woman. Sometimes the best man for the job can only be a woman. A woman. She's qualified in every way. She gon' get the job done. Sometimes the best man for the job.
I am that woman. I tell you, I am that best man woman for the job. You better ask somebody, hi Bruce, where you at?
Hi, how you doing, Crystal? Where are you?
I'm wonderful. I am at the LA Crystal Hotel. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to spook you. Like, oh, well, I'm not coming. But you are in the best hands with Brother Minister, Pastor, Elder Reverend Fred Shaw. You're in the best hands with LeBron Davidson, and definitely you're in the best hands with Felicia Morris. So I want you to feel very comfortable. I want you to talk and tell everything that's on your heart, whatever's going on. Definitely talk about your brother and his great legacy. Talk about everything that you are. Fred is going to handle it, but I'm just here. I'm going to go get dressed and we'll talk later. But you all are in the studio. Make it happen. This is your connection. And I'm going to tell you all this. That's your new studio. You're in the home of your new studio. So make sure you get a little tour of what's there and available to you, because we have to make sure we are where we are among family and friends and those that love us. And that's where you are at Morris Media. Okay, so go ahead on, Brother Fred. Take it over. Handle my friend, Brother Bruce, and we'll get together for lunch, dinner, or breakfast later, okay?
Okay, thanks, Crystal.
All right.
I love you. All right, I'm standing by. Go ahead, take it.
Okay. So I'm here with Bruce Gordon. He does music. He does a lot of things. But what I'm not going to do is pretend like I've known him a long time. So I want him to introduce himself to the audience, and then we will go from there.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for the opportunity to just come and speak with you guys. It's my privilege and my honor to be here. Crystal is the sister of a longtime friend of mine, Leonard Davis, and very good friend of my brother's who passed away. My brother, Horatio Gordon, singer, songwriter, producer. He was my fraternal twin brother. We worked together for decades, long time. And am I supposed to look here or there? Here?
Look right into the camera.
In
right
the
there.
camera. Okay, even if I'm talking to you, I can talk to you.
Look
Okay.
into the camera.
Okay.
If you turn to me casually, that's fine.
Okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
talk to the people.
Sorry, I just want to make sure.
No, it's
So
all
my brother Horatio Gordon, he sang lead on all the songs that we recorded, and we have a number of songs that we've had on soundtracks to movies that went to like the Cannes Film Festival. We had an independent feature film about Vietnam War veterans that came out years ago. He played on like 4 gold albums of people like Ray Parker Jr., who did the Ghostbusters stuff and other things like that. And he toured with Leo Sayer, U.S. and European tour. So we were, high up in the business. And lots of things changed with the whole digital thing, and then musicians weren't needed as much because the computers could do it and the samplers, and then distribution changed, and instead of selling records, vinyl, or cassettes, or DVDs, or CDs, then everything went digital, and then that's when creators stopped being able to make money from their music. But we kept on going. And he passed away, like I said, in February the 6th. But we have a library of things that I'm still shopping, to movie soundtracks, TV show soundtracks, commercials, and other types of venues. And I'm also a filmmaker. I've had my short film thesis film from LA Film School went to the Cannes Short Film Corner in Cannes and was on VOD, Amazon Prime, and things like that. So I also do some consulting work where I help filmmakers get their product from inception to the VOD market and the whole process of going to film festivals so that they can get some notoriety. You know.
From your perspective, has the film industry changed as far as African Americans participating in it? Or are we basically still in the same spot we were in? It's just they show us a little bit more on television, but they don't necessarily give us the production roles and things like that. I don't know. I'm just asking because I just know it seems to be the way it is. They'll throw us up front, but they won't give us the big deals that happen behind closed doors.
Well, I'll say this. A brother named Reginald Hudlin, Reggie Hudlin, who made movies like Boomerang and a lot of things. He just did a documentary on Sidney Poitier. I'll say it like this. He said, you can't just always fight the power. You gotta be the power. So the concept of what they give us and stuff like that, that was like yesterday's thinking. I came up in a time when I worked for companies. I was the first black male to work at this company. I was the only black person to work for that company. So that in my day, that's how I was, and you just didn't think about it. You just got to do what you got to do. Now, though, we've had these diversity and inclusion initiatives. We had Black Lives Matter, which has brought in all these different types of programs, and there's money and grants and things like that. And they do have a kind of visibility thing where they put some things up and say, we're going to promote black voices and things like that. To be honest, I've never trusted those things because they come and they go. I saw them come and go with like the whole UPN CW network in the day, back in the day in the 90s. There used to be like black departments at the record companies. You had a black vice president of black music at Warner Brothers, at CBS, at all these different companies. And then all of a sudden, no more black department. So I've seen these things happen so many times that I just feel like what we need to do is what Spike Lee said when he started. Instead of saying, we got to get them to hire us, he said, we got to make our own.
Well, I think that it's been a long time understood that if we keep waiting on everybody else to give us the break instead of making our own break, we're going to be in trouble, and we're going to be in the same situation 50 years from now.
Yes.
You know, and that's every aspect. You know, I used to be a Los Angeles County Sheriff deputy, right? When I was on the department, 12% of the people on the department were black. Now it's 6%.
Wow.
So it's gone down. Part of that is our fault because we let our neighbors talk about the popo. How do you expect to get a chance if nobody is stopping you that look like you? You see what I'm saying? I don't think you punch a woman holding a baby if there's two black officers there. See, so we sit here, oh no, you don't want to be the popo, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that, and we lose the fact that, first of all, we've taken $70,000 starting a year out of the mouths of our children who could be law enforcement officers and who could bring the respect to our community that need to be had. I grew up in the Willowbrook, Compton area and stuff like that. I worked the area I grew up in. Okay? So it wasn't no faking who you are, pretending you tougher than you are and all that. Everybody knew me because we grew up playing ball, doing everything. They knew what I would do and wouldn't do. But it was a change. I could see that I was just as protected in my community as a cop as I was when I wasn't. So it's like, but they convince us, both sides. You can't trust the people in Willowbrook now that you're a cop. Then you got those people who don't know you. Oh, you can't trust him because he's a cop. But let me tell you something. I was feeding my family and feeding them well. These young people, unemployed, and they got jobs making $70,000 starting. Go get them jobs. Be honest. If you got to move, move. Everybody, oh, don't move out the community. Well, then you guys can't put the pressure on them. You know, that I would love to see films like that. I would love to see films, and I know we don't get the green light, but I know this is a tough question, but how come we don't see, we can get all the gangster movies. We can get the Superfly, we can get all those. How come we can't get the movies where we are the Bruce Willis, or we are the Tom Cruise, or how come we can't get those roles? We can get the role that we like that as a villain. Mm-hmm. How come we can't get those roles as a good guy? Denzel, I guess, does some, you know, but he got his Oscar on Training Day. So, you know what I'm saying? Halle Berry's done acceptable movies, but she got her Oscar for what she did. You know, probably the most watched movie in history. But it's like, what can we do to change that?
Wow, that's a rough one, because part of it, like you say, is from the outside. The dominant forces kind of want to see us in a certain box, but then at the same time, a lot of us only support things that are in a certain box. And I go back to the music. I mean, most of the music is definitely not something that's going to be like healthy, educational things that's going to uplift the community, uplift people. Most of it is stuff that's going to drag you down and mess up families and mess up young people. But for some reason, not only is the system pushing that stuff, but that's the only stuff that seems to be the stuff that the people
that our people gravitate to.
And I don't know how to fix that. I don't, because like me and my brother, we put out stuff that's positive, and nobody want to hear it. They go, "Oh, that's soft. We want something that's hard," you know.
This indicates though how our minds have been brainwashed, because I hear the young people talk about, you know, our culture. You know, thugging it is our culture. When did that come about? You know, if you trace us to Africa, we're not a thug culture. If we was a thug culture, we'd have never been slaves here. But they convince us, they come in with the gangster rap and all of that, and I don't blame all of the rappers, because they were trying to make their money too. They was going nowhere and found a way to get out. I can't blame them for that. However, the makers of the people who funded all of that, you know, we need to hold them accountable, you know, because their whole thing was to support that prison industrial complex and to keep us making other folk money while because we want to be hard. What difference if you want to be hard, get in the ring with Mayweather, get in the ring with Earl Spence. If you want to be hard, get in the ring with Terrence Crawford. Don't be hard beating up an old lady on the street or a man with a cane. Be hard where you can make millions of dollars. You know, I mean, I just want us to you as a filmmaker, as a music maker, you are leading down a certain path. I don't know you, but I don't think you filming all the booty popping stuff.
Not me.
You know, I don't. And look, I'm not criticizing. I wrote a book called The Gangster Chronicles. It's a heavy book. We're circling it, seeing what we can do, trying to figure out how to make our own money on it, so we don't get $16,000 and then shortchanged, and then, you know, nobody ever can find our money in the books again, you know. But it's like, what made you stay on the straight and narrow instead of yielding? Because the way in for us is to create the corrupt stuff with the booty popping, the gangster, people shooting each other, using the N-word every few seconds. That's the way that people see us, and that's what they will fund for us. Mm-hmm. What is your viewpoint on that?
Everything you say is true. It's just a choice. Like, you got to know who you are. Like, say, for example, when we used to take songs to the record company, they'd say, well, you know, that's not what's selling right now. The stuff that's selling is the hard street stuff. You know, you got to have street cred. Basically, you know, you got to be have gone to jail. You got to, get caught with a gun. Even the artists sometimes who came from a middle class family, went to church, grew up in the church, but they got a record deal. But to promote it, they got to get arrested for something, and it's best if there's a gun involved because that gives them more street cred and they'll get more sales. It's just something on the street that helps sales go faster. It validates that music, especially if it's hip hop. Now, you're talking about jazz or R&B, then, it's a whole different world. I'm old enough to come up in the day where you got like the OJs and people like that and talking about I always love my mama, and, you got songs that's positive. Gamblin' Huff made a lot of songs, Philadelphia International, and they be talking about, Teddy Pendergrass or whatever, talking about wake up everybody and, take care of the
Marvin
community.
Gaye,
Marvin
Stevie
Gaye,
Wonder.
what's going on, and Stevie Wonder. But those voices have been shut down now. They just want the stuff that's hard and street because first of all, it's easy to sell, it's sensational, and second of all, it costs less to promote. Everything costs a lot of money to promote, and like you said, you can't really blame the people from that element. That's their reality,
Right?
Because when NWA started out, and NWA and some of these other people, they started out. Nobody wanted to give them a record deal. So they made their own music. They sold it out the trunk of their cars at the swap meet and stuff. And it was selling like wildfire with no promotion. The record business had nothing to do with it. And then the record business people said, wait a minute, there's millions of dollars being made here and we're not part of it. So then they bought in and then they promoted that. And, there's been fights all the way from here to Congress about trying to stop that. And people going, and there's this one black woman who was like protesting against death row back in the day when it was getting big, and they challenged the shareholders of Time Warner because they owned like the record companies, Warner Brothers, Interscope, or whatever, and they were trying to shut down the mass distribution, and they had hearings in Congress about gangster rap and how it was like making a lot of kids go down the wrong path and stuff. And all those people got shut down. I don't know if they got paid off, threatened. Some people passed away, for whatever reason. And I don't know if you know about, back in the day, there was an organization called the BRE, Black Radio Exclusive, which was a guy named Sidney Miller. And it was all the black radio stations around the country. And they would always meet, usually here in LA. And so when we were starting out, we used to go to these conventions because all the artists would come there, Keith Sweat and Guy and Teddy, all the people, Jimmy Jam and Terry and all, would have this powwow every year. And Sidney Miller would bring all these black radio stations, people, like we got KJLH now here, but it used to be KJLH, KAC, and there was one other one, K-Day.
K-Day.
Yeah, and they were some of them were black owned, but some of them were just black operated.
Black operated, yeah.
And then there's a lot of political things going on. Every time somebody was running for president, Jesse Jackson or whatever, they would always go to the black radio stations and this and that. And then somebody at some point said that maybe because some of the black radio stations were hosting some elements of black culture that other people didn't like, or they considered it hate speech. Because you're uplift yourself, but maybe you're saying it in a way that's making other people feel like you're downing them. So somebody just decided to just make all that go away. So I think they bought up all the radio stations. So it's not that many black owned radio stations anymore.
Well, the thing is that one of the reasons that we need to wake up is because of the fact that in the power scheme of things, we're sitting at a low level. I hear people say things like, we're worth $1 trillion or $2 trillion. That means nothing unless you have assets. It means nothing unless you own the house or own the land or own whatever. Now, if you say we got $1 trillion in assets, then people got to listen to us. See, but because in that money that they're talking about is the welfare money, disability money, all that money is in there. And a lot of that really doesn't carry the weight. Now, if we directed the spending, we could do something. But us, we love our comfort more than our freedom, so we going to go to the store where they call us the N-word because that's where everybody else shop. When it comes to this music, though, I want to get back up. I really see. You said you're a fraternal twin.
Yeah.
My father was a fraternal twin.
Oh, okay.
I have a pair of fraternal twins. There's twins that run in my family and stuff. My father's older brothers, there was a set of fraternal twins.
Wow.
So twins run in our family. So what did it do to the creativity? I know you're on the mission, but when you lost your brother, how did it affect your creativity?
Well, he was the lead singer, so that is monumental in terms of the sound going forward. I mean, like I said, we have a library of things that we have that exist, but in terms of creating new stuff, there would have to be another singer. I mean, of course, I could sing, and especially using all these new tools and stuff with voice tools and stuff, auto-tune and stuff. I can get by and sing, but it wouldn't be the same as when he was singing. Yeah.
You don't want to be Milli Vanilli and
But with these tools now, man, where you got, like I said, the auto-tune and that's the new AI stuff, you can sound pretty good. Anybody.
Oh, yeah.
All you got to do is say the words, and then the instruments will take over,
Wow.
Yeah.
And that leads to my next point. Where do you see, because of AI and stuff, where do you see music and filmmaking going in the future?
Well, I'm gonna tell you something. The number one thing is human beings love music. They love stories. They love film. They love TV. That will never go out. The only thing that's gonna change is how people are gonna make it and how people are gonna get paid for making it. That's
Right.
what the technology changes. And so with the music business, all those things came, samplers, synthesizers, all these things came, and it changed the way they made the music, but they still made music. But then all the people who create music, they can't make a living from it unless you play live. So in my case, I will go on and I'm going to learn the new technology. The smartest thing is to always stay current, stay ahead of the curve, because then you can become part of what's going on instead of being trounced by what's going on.
That's a good point. My son, he's involved, and he's keeping me abreast of AI and everything. And, he said, Dad, what is something that you would want to do? And I said, create a logo for our new nonprofit. He had us type in what we wanted. And in 1 minute, we had over 300, 500. It just kept expanding. All these different versions where a person would have charged you $250 to design it and put it there, and it took him a day or two and all this stuff. They hit me. 1 minute. It was like nothing but. He said, you can do it. And that's why I understand. He said, look, you could take your Western that you wrote, Dad. You can submit it and say, give other versions of this. And this thing will create 100 different stories.
Yeah.
That's what they're fighting for in Hollywood, is to be able to get paid when they start creating all these stories off of the work that you did,
Right.
and you don't get paid. But the studio want to get paid,
Right.
and they want to do, again, the people who produce the lease. And what happens when the writers and the actors quit writing that? They'll go with a lookalike, and it's
Well, one of the things, specific examples that they're arguing about right now is they said that they want to hire you for 1 day, have you do certain motions and say certain things with the camera on you and some electrodes or whatever, I don't know, and then pay you for that day, and then be able to use the images of you and the things that you did in 100 or 1,000 ways all in the future. And you don't get paid for it. You got paid for that 1 day. So that's something.
And that's criminal.
Today, the way we think with today's knowledge is criminal, but in the future way of doing it, it's not. It's just like sampling. You would say if you sample somebody's song,
They should get paid.
like when they were first sampling James Brown going, hey, and all that kind of stuff, the law had not caught up with the technology. So people were sampling and making money. And then James Brown and his people would say, well, wait a minute, that's me on there. Like, I'm not getting paid. I didn't sign nothing for y'all to do that, and I'm not getting no money. So eventually they had to come up with laws saying, yes, you can use samples, but you got to clear them first so that you can pay the person whose work you're using. And but when they were doing it, it wasn't illegal because the law had not. There were no laws yet because the technology was ahead of the law. So same thing with AI. The laws have not been written yet. That's why they're on the street, because they're trying to fight, because really they know that how things were is over. So it's over for them anyway, the way that they.
Did you have something to say?
Well,
This is our brilliant engineer here,
Yeah.
Brother LaRon. Go ahead.
okay, so Crystal wanted to go to a commercial break, so she's going to come back on after the commercial break.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So when you ready?
When you guys are...
Well, we can go to commercial break right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, this is interesting. Now,
Fred and Gordon, we've got a few minutes left. We're not going to really go over our 6 o'clock hour today. We do have a wonderful guest here at the LA Crystal Hotel. This is our headquarters where we're getting ready to produce different programs, music, television production, films, and things of that nature. So I definitely invite you, Bruce. And Fred, you know your invitation is always open to be here. If you all can make it anytime this week before I leave and go back to Las Vegas, I would love to show you around here to see what we have plans to not only develop, but just create music, like a multimedia center here at the LA Crystal Hotel in Compton. So I definitely want to bring Mr. Brad Carson on because his business here is going to be one of our main supporters in making sure we do everything right business. So please, Mr. Carson, come and introduce yourself. You've been a guest on our show before, but let them know how they can get in support with what you're doing.
Reverend Fred Shaw, what's up?
what's up, Brother Brad? What's happening?
You, man, you, and all the good people out there. Good seeing you, host Gordon.
Well, I can hear you now.
Whatever Crystal tells me to show up, I just show up. You know what I do? I get jobs for peace, and then trade jobs for gang truces, and get people middle income career opportunities, organizing the community, and bringing all the hoods together, United Hood Nation style.
Right.
And he's been doing it a long time. I've been part of the group that he had. We were dealing with the community issues, trying to bring wealth to the people in the community. So Brad is a very good guy, and he's been out there a long time trying to make some stuff happen. He needs to stay away from Crystal. Crystal gave you a bunch of problems, man. I'm telling you. She'll give you problems. No, that's my girl. I love Crystal to death. We've known each other. She played the
Let me
piano
make the
in our
record
church.
straight. I am the $1 million queen around here. Any of
Yeah,
y'all
she-
go get your first millions if you ain't already got it. It's gonna come through because of our Lady Crystal done hooked it up.
Well, I'm glad you said that publicly because I need to borrow some money. You know.
You ain't have to borrow a dime, baby. It's yours. We're gonna give you everything you need. Don't worry. Just come on up here to the hotel, the LA Crystal Hotel, where our headquarters is. Where we're handling multimedia, television, music, entertainment, edutainment, all of that.
Well, thank you so much, Crystal. Thank you for this opportunity to speak to this wonderful brother on the show. This is really good. I hope to be able to work with him in the future. You know, and we can do some things. You got talents, he got talents, I got talents. We can bring these talents together and make something happen.
Absolutely.
And it
$1
is
million
good
mark.
to see you,
Got
Brother
you.
Brad. It is good to see you, man.
Good seeing you, man.
Nice to meet you, and thank you.
I'm gonna
all
let
for
y'all take it over
having me.
and we'll make plans. Don't worry, everything is already accounted for. We'll
All
make
right.
plans to get together and do what we do. Live entertainment, socialize, eat good food, and just love the Lord our God. Is that all right?
I'm gonna come up
Jeez.
there and check out your spot, see what you're doing up there, Crystal. You know, I noticed that you picked the Crystal Palace. You know, you got your same name in it. You didn't go to the Fred Palace or the Bruce Gordon Palace. You went to the Crystal Palace.
Crystal Palace.
That's how we rocking up in here. It's a crystal world. Don't you know about it? The crystal ball. We can tell the future.
All right. Hey, what I want to do is let him give us a final word, if it's okay, unless you got something else to say.
No, you go ahead. It's in your hands.
All
I'm
right.
done.
Well, give us some wisdom to depart with.
Well, I'll always say that the most important thing in life is to look inside yourself, try to figure out what was put in you. Like, you find out somewhere around adolescence, when you're a teenager, whatever that thing is that you wanted to do so much after school, after you had to do your work or whatever, and your parents said, stop doing that. You need to, go clean up your room. You need to do your homework. Whatever that thing is, that right there is that thing in your heart. That's what you need to follow your whole life, because that right there is who you really are. That's what God gave you, a fire, a desire, a mission, a goal. And it takes different forms because the world changes around you. You grow up, you meet different people, technology changes, but that thing never changes. So if you stay true to that as your North Star, you'll always be successful and you'll always be happy in terms of your real purpose.
And if I could piggyback on that, tell the young people that Kobe Bryant once said, anything that you are willing to work harder at than anybody else will be successful. So if you stay true to yourself, just like you said, and you do your due diligence and work hard, you will achieve your goal. Till next time, God bless. This is the Lady Crystal Show, and I'm your host for today, Reverend Fred Shaw Jr., and I want to thank our engineer, Ron, for doing it through today, and God bless everybody. Thank you for coming on the show.
You're welcome, and thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Crystal, and thank you, LaRon.
Come all the way around. See, now this